I love this film. You know, it makes a big difference if you can fall in love with a project. The first time Ridley phoned me and said, you know, what about a Gladiator movie? I just sort of started laughing because I was thinking about men in skirts and sandals. You know, and then he said, no, it's not like that. And he started telling me the story, and I thought, this could be good. This could be pretty amazing. And I went out to England in the first week when they were shooting out there, and you know, I went down to deepest, darkest Farnham in the south of England, and it was snowing, it was cold, it was muddy. I mean, you've never seen mud like this. And you know, as we were driving off the road into this wood where the battle was taking place, you know, you suddenly left the 20th century behind. And there's an image which keeps repeating in the movie, which is Russell Crowe before fight, reaching into the earth and touching the earth. I mean, he's a farmer, that's the idea, he needs to touch the earth. And I didn't know about this image, but I remember sitting there with Ridley in this muddy field, and because I suddenly had been shifted from the 20th century to somewhere else, I remember reaching down and just taking up a clump of earth, and sort of suddenly I was in the movie. God, you know, writing it, finding that first idea. I mean, I was always saying that about the Oscar. I mean, the Oscar would be this amazing thing if with the Oscar they gave you the first 4 bars of the next tune you have to write, because they are impossible. And you sit here and you're consumed by self-doubt, and you just know you can't ever do it again, and that you're a fraud, and you should be phoning the studio right now and telling them, you know, find yourself a real composer. I can't do it. And then suddenly something happens. You know, it's like, and I don't know how it happens, but suddenly something is there that's appropriate for this film. I mean, it happens to me on every movie. I found a tape recently which was just ideas for The Lion King, and there were 48 main themes on it. And, you know, they weren't bad, but they weren't right either. They weren't the right thing for that movie. And I have an hour's worth of material which nobody will ever hear, which I wrote for this movie, which was nearly right, but it wasn't quite, you know, it didn't quite. You know, it was like a suit, you know, that you buy in a department store. It looked all right, but it didn't quite fit. You know, we're speaking bespoke tailoring here. The Gladiator cutting rooms were over there. You know, I was writing music over here. Not too far to go, and at the same time, we could close the door on each other. No, I mean, it's very collaborative. I mean, the whole idea on this film was that we would work together, for instance, in the same building. I mean, his cutting rooms are here at the studio, which makes a big difference because we can go and confer or interfere with each other's ideas, you know, whichever way you look at it. Which is truly a great way of working, because it makes sense of how one makes a movie. You know, not everybody is just sort of stuck away in a corner somewhere, you know, doing their own thing. It's a good way of working because everything informs everything else. And I mean, if you think about the first image we have in the film, which, you know, you hear the name of the movie, it's called Gladiator, and then the first image you see, the hand on the wheat, it's so poetic. And in a way, it's music that gives you the license to be that poetic. I don't know, very early on, I don't know if it was Pietro or if it was Ridley, somebody kept playing a Dead Can Dance CD, you know, with Lisa Gerrard singing. And the more we were listening to it, the more we were going, can't we do something like that? And, you know, can't we find a singer to do something? And finally the answer, of course, was, let's phone Lisa herself. And we sent her some footage, and she thought it looked pretty amazing. She was really interested, and she came over for, I think it was supposed to be 3 or 4 days. That turned into 4 or 5 months. And I sort of found this sort of musical soulmate suddenly. I mean, she's a formidable character insofar that she has an incredible aesthetic sense. She's a real artist. There are very few artists, everybody's called an artist these days, but trust me, there are very few who are the real thing. And we just started trying things together. I mean, the whole wheat field, etc. I mean, you put the picture up and you better be in record if she sees the picture, because amazing things will start happening. And we'd all be working together. Ridley would be sitting in this room, Lisa would be singing, you know, we'd do one take and we'd turn around to Ridley and go, what do you think? And he'd be all sort of emotional, go, oh, I don't know, works for me. You know, I think it sort of shocked him partly the sort of emotional onslaught that comes out of her voice, because she digs very deep. We never use the language of music, and he never says, can we do this and can we do that? We talk about the scene, we talk about the characters, we talk about the light, we talk about what we're trying to accomplish. We're talking about, if I do this here, how will it affect something, you know, 20 minutes later? You know, how can we set up tone? How, you know, we're talking about aesthetics, we're talking about books we read, we're talking about other people's movies. Anything not to talk about the specifics of music, because there's no point. I mean, the thing that really became the main theme, it really, Lisa kept calling it the Earth theme. You know, I mean, the first time I played it to her, she absolutely got what I was going after, which is actually this very, very beautiful theme, but I can turn it on its head, and before a battle, you really usually hear it down in the basses, and it's very threatening. And at the same time, it becomes the kiss, it becomes the figurines, it becomes the thing about family. But it's that sort of, it really is about this personal life of this character. And what was fun was to take this very humble theme and turn it into 1,000 different emotions. You know, just where it would be. And really it's about danger, it's about, and at the same time it's about peace.
At my signal, unleash hell.
This movie moves around a little bit geographically. I mean, we take in at least half the Roman Empire. We go from Germania, Germany, to Spain, and then to Morocco, and then to Rome. And what I wanted to do is, once we're in Morocco, I wanted it to be really tribal, dirty, gritty. I always wanted to use this one instrument for the sort of Moroccan sequences called the duduk, which is thousands of years old. It's really an Armenian clarinet, would be the easiest explanation. And there's one player that is amazing, a 72-year-old man called Javan Gasparian. Of course, he lives in Armenia. And I kept thinking, I want to write for him. I want this to be about him. And everybody kept saying, just give up. He